Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm absent. I know I kind of warned you in class. So here's your task for today. Again, you're going to be watching this video lecture, copy them into your notes. Once you are done, you can start working on your vocabulary. Please make sure you're on task. I'm giving you guys time to work on it. This video lecture shouldn't take you the whole period. You shouldn't be doing other things on your phone, listening to music. Just get your stuff done. You can use your textbooks, obviously, to help you with the vocabulary. So anyway, kind of getting to it. So again, this part you don't need to copy down, but here are your goals for the next next week and a half, 2 weeks. You should be able to tell me what a political party is, identify and explain the jobs of political parties. So that'll be today. These first two bullet points that we just talked about will be what we'll be talking about here in this video lecture. 3, I can explain how political parties allow citizens to participate in government, allows them to have a voice. I could see where I can fall. I could see where I belong in the political spectrum, kind of learning, what's left, what's right, what's liberal, what's conservative. And then I can identify or define minor parties and explain their importance. All right, so one thing that I kind of want to start with is George Washington. It's truly amazing that, when our country first formed, you had the first 2 political parties, the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. And there was some rigorous debate, about kind of where our country was going to be going towards and how it was going to be formed. Think back to what we talked about last year in U.S. and when you were in 8th grade and even so far in government, and how you had small states versus big states. They had their own separate wants and needs, how much power to give to the federal government, how much power to give to the states. So there were a lot of issues that these beginning political parties kind of had to tackle and deal with that caused great division. So George Washington, as he I know it's kind of small here. But George Washington, on his farewell address, as he was leaving the White House, again, he was a 2-term president. He left in his speech with this quote I thought was really powerful. However political parties may now and then answer popular ends, they are likely in the course of time and things to become potent engines by which cunning, ambitious, and unprincipled men will be enabled to subvert the power of the people and to usurp for themselves the reins of government, destroying afterwards the very engines which have lifted them to unjust dominion. So, guys, this quote really says it all. That George Washington was able to see the power of the Federalists and Anti-Federalists and how that was popular at that time. People felt like they needed to belong either with them or with this group. There was really a lot of room in between, and many people feel like political parties is a means to achieve something. But in his time in Washington, and as George Washington spent time in politics in D.C., kind of seeing how politics worked, with the lying, the backstabbing, and playing politics, giving and taking certain things, on how, some men could take advantage of the system by taking the power for themselves, and dividing the country. And if you look at throughout history, look at where we're at today with, ultimate division. It's pretty amazing that he had the foresight to be able to see that, in the 1790s, kind of where we're at today, where politics and corruption and all those things, money and business, that's all kind of intertwined, that kind of go into it. So that's pretty amazing. All right. So finally, for the notes, what you guys need. What is a political party? A political party is a group of people that seek to control government by winning elections and holding public office. Their ultimate goal is to influence public policies and programs. So think back to the last unit with interest groups. Interest groups were groups of people that belonged to an organization that wanted to get their interests passed. They didn't care about any other issue. That was not their specialty. They cared about their issue. Also, interest groups did not win elections. Their job was to influence those that did win elections. So political parties are groups of people that want to control government, win elections, and pass policy. That's the difference between interest groups and political parties. You still have the citizen. You can belong to an interest group. You can belong to a political party. Sometimes they're kind of tied together. Obviously, if you're the NRA, you're a pro-gun group. Typically, those leanings kind of head towards Republicans. So sometimes they're kind of intertwined, but again, they're different in terms of political parties. Their goal is to win government, win elections, and pass policies. Interest groups want to influence them. So these groups, they share common goals. So Democrats, they are certain, as we talked about yesterday in class, there's certain goals and objectives they have. Same for Republicans. They have their set beliefs and set goals and set platforms. So political parties, again, are very election oriented. They're not issue oriented. That's interest groups. Interest groups are issue oriented. Political parties are not. Political parties have to worry about lots of different issues: healthcare, immigration, guns, education, you name it. Okay, so pause the video if you need this. All right, so what are the three elements of a party? So one is party organization. Those that are on top, the party leaders. You have your Speaker of the House. You have your President pro tempore. You have the whips, and you have the minority leaders, majority leaders. So you have, and even going into the state, you have your state party leaders that kind of help organize and help run things. So these are the party professionals. They give their time, they give money, they give their skills to the party to enhance the political party. So then you have the party in government. These are the people that hold positions in government that represent their political party. So they help organize, help run, help pass policy for that. And then you have your party in the electorate. It's what you identify as. So you as a voter, what you yourself identify as. That's kind of how the party works. So you have your top, you have your leaders. So you have your leaders on top. Then you have those that hold positions, and then you have your voters who vote for your particular political party. So if you're party in the electorate, so if you're a Democrat, you're going to vote all Democratic. You're not basing your vote on merit of the individual, you're basing it on party. So again, pause this if you need it. All right, so why are political parties important? Really four main reasons. One, if you're in a political party, they're the ones who pass the policies. They take stances on issues. They present these issues to the people. So that's obviously important. In order to pass policy, like healthcare, there's lots of different ways you can go with that. Guns, a lot of different places you can go with that. So they're the ones who pass the laws. Two, why else are political parties important? Two, it allows citizens to participate and feel like they belong to a group that shares the same beliefs they do. Gives you a sense of belonging towards something. Third thing, it brings conflicting groups together to talk about key issues. Sometimes it could be contentious, sometimes it could be civil, and you have a good discussion about things. Or maybe you have there's different groups of people, but you have a same kind of belief in something that might bring you together. People from different walks of life, people that are from rich and middle class and poverty, whatever. And then the fourth thing, political parties act as checks and balance. They bring attention to issues about what government leaders are doing. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, and they bring attention to that to let people know kind of what's going on. Again, pause this if you need it. All right, so what are the jobs of a political party? What do they do? There's a few main roles that we'll talk about here in the next couple minutes. One, they nominate candidates. You want to nominate people that they believe has a good chance of winning an election. So right now we're going through right now, if you look at the board over here that I have with the thing, all those candidates are trying to become nominated to win the presidential ticket. Obviously, we're going through that process now where we're trying to recruit good candidates. The political party is trying to provide support for them, money and time and propaganda, you name it, and present them to the voters. So right now they're trying to win so Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, they're trying to win the nomination for their party's ticket. So that's what they want to do. They want to make sure they're putting the best candidates forward that can represent the key stances on their issues. Two, inform and activate supporters. You want to be able to, the political parties want to inform people through propaganda, pamphlets, signs, commercials on their key issues and key stances. You want to activate interest and participation in process. So you want to make sure that you're engaging your audience, engage the voters, make them feel compelled to go to the ballot box and know what the issues are, know the importance of the election. In all political campaigns, you need volunteers to campaign for you. A campaign doesn't work if you don't have volunteers who are willing to spend time to knock on doors or to make telephone calls for you. You want to criticize opponents. So if you're going against somebody, you're running against somebody in an election, you want to make sure that you're criticizing who you're running against to try and, basically try and sell yourself. So right now, all of the candidates for Democrats are blasting Trump. They want to make sure that they're making sure that there's key issues that he's, in their view, or is missing out on. 3, political parties act as a bonding agent. A bonding agent means that you ensure good performance from candidates and office holders. So again, by picking good quality people, you're picking qualified people. You don't want anybody that has any dirt on them. You want to bond the candidate with the people. The cleaner the candidate, so to speak, meaning there's not a whole lot of dirt on them, the better. And the political party is going to support those kind of people that are, there's not really a whole lot of dirt on them. Governing obviously speaks for itself, that they have a certain platform, things that they believe in, and they want to back people who have those same common beliefs that they do. You want people who are partisans, meaning they have firm allegiance to your party. So for instance, if you're a Democrat and you have somebody who's independent but leans Republican a lot, the Democratic Party probably is not going to support that kind of person or that kind of candidate. You want somebody who represents your political party, who represents your ideals, who has allegiance to you and your party, that will represent you. Last but not least, this arguably one of the most important, we see this a lot on a day-to-day basis, is you act as a watchdog. So what does that mean? So think about a watchdog, a dog at your house, constantly barking outside of the window, barking at other dogs or barking at people who are going on your property. That's based. So the watchdog is somebody who is out of power. So right now you have Donald Trump, Republican. The watchdog would be the Democrats. They're out of power. They're looking at every move what Donald Trump is doing, and they are criticizing it. They're putting commercials, campaign ads, and blasting every single issue, and they're bringing it to the public's attention. That's a watchdog. So you look over the public's business. Party out of power, their role is to criticize the party that's in power. So you can, hopefully the voters will vote them out. So the party in power right now is which in the slide's a little wrong. It will be, the party in power will be Donald Trump, which is Republican. So this is an old slide. I need to update that. But all right. So anyway, that's as far as notes. Copy this into your notebooks. There may be an exit ticket on this. So from here on out, you can start doing your vocabulary. So use your textbooks for that. All right, adios.